Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. I had numerous people request me to review these figures, and I 100% intended on buying them, but I didn't quite grab them when they were first released, which I definitely regret now after seeing them in person. But I have finally acquired these absolutely beautiful Tyrannosaurus Rex figures from REBOR, and I know what you're thinking. They are not kidding anybody by just labeling them Tyrannosaurus Rex. They are quite obviously V-Rex from the Peter Jackson King Kong film, which is an absolutely awesome movie if you get a chance to see it. If you have not already, I definitely recommend that film, especially if you watch all the awesome deleted scenes when they are actually on Skull Island. There's just so many different creatures and dinosaurs. Anyway, I'm just getting completely off track. Such a cool movie. But regardless, these V-Rex figures are beautifully done, and they are really the ultimate, in my opinion, as far as these V-Rex figures go. I really haven't seen anything better, so they are definitely super exciting and really, really nicely done. Very super highly detailed. I know one thing that a few people have mentioned is that the Tyrannosaur here actually has 2 fingers, and I believe in the film they had 3 maybe? I can't really recall exactly, but again, they have to label them as Tyrannosaurus Rex, so they kind of have to sculpt them as a Tyrannosaurus Rex, because if you're going to label them V-Rex, they're probably going to run into some pretty big copyright issues, and we don't want that, because we don't want any kind of lawsuit or anything toward REBOR, as REBOR is awesome, and I definitely don't want to live in a world where we can't get REBOR figures anymore. So let's just deal with the fact that they have 2 fingers and move on. And with that said, let's get a closer look so we can actually see all the beautiful sculpt and detail. Now, the overall sculpts are both, I think they're identical. There is no real differences or anything, aside from the fact that the coloration is different. With this one, it is a greenish color, whereas the other one is a grayish color. So we are starting with the green one, and again, you can see all the incredible sculpt that is all over the place on the head sculpt of this V-Rex. It really is incredible. There is just tons and tons of sculpt and detail all over the place that just make this thing just so jaw-droppingly awesome. When you first get it out and look at it, I can assure you, if you are a fan of that Peter Jackson King Kong film, you will be absolutely blown away by this Tyrannosaurus Rex. Looking up here at the face, you can actually see that there are some slight changes in the tones and coloration of the head, which is very cool to see. Again, making it look pretty realistic. There is a black, almost, it's definitely very dark, pretty much a black coloration around the eye, whereas the eye is just a goldish color, and it really makes the eye pop. For that simple reason, that eye is very, very small, but you can really make note of it simply because it's so dark around it, and that gold color is so bright, and it really looks beautiful. One of the things about this that I'm really a big fan of is the fact that they have a white or a very light colored wash all over it, and that is very reminiscent of what you actually see on the V-Rex in the film, and it really also makes the entire sculpt just pop so nicely. Look at that incredible sculpt work up on the top of the head. A really very cool looking armored look, and that white wash has really brought out all the detail and just kind of given it that very dusty type of a look, and it looks awesome because of it. It really, really does. I am a big fan of that wash all over this dinosaur, and I think that's one of the things that makes this just so appealing to me, is the way they've applied that wash, and it makes it just look jaw-droppingly beautiful. Look at that, it just looks so incredible. I'm really blown away by how nice this is. Even that front shot right there, he just looks like a miserable dinosaur. Something I would not want to have the jaws chomping down on me. That would not be a good time. You can see the nostrils are sculpted very nicely up here on the face, on the snout actually, more specifically. And it does have an articulated jaw, and the jaw works perfectly. And inside you can see that beautifully painted and sculpted tongue. Look at that, looks incredible. And this is one thing that I was stating in the last Sweeney review from REBOR, I believe it was Sweeney that I mentioned it, is that the inside of the mouth and the teeth and everything on REBOR figures is just light years above anybody else. There's just no comparison when it comes to the entire outlook of the inside of the mouth. Just look at that. It's a little hard to see it perfectly because it's dark in there, but that looks so insanely real. It is just absolutely ridiculous. They have gotten the gloss, the use of gloss on the inside of the mouth down perfectly. It just could not possibly look any more real than it does. And one thing on top of the inside of the mouth looking real is look at the teeth. I have never seen more realistic looking teeth on a figure in my entire life. It legit looks like they just took some animal's very sharp teeth and included them on this figure. That is just unbelievable to me. And one thing to note is that the teeth are actually really quite sharp, so be careful with them when you do get them out. I mean, it shouldn't cut you or anything, but if you put your finger in there and slam the jaw shut, I could definitely see him taking a bite out of you. But you can see that just looks awesome, and that's one area that I really wanted to bring attention to with this figure, because the entire mouth is just unbelievable. When you see it in person, you will trust me when I say it. I say it a lot with certain figures, but you really will be blown away. I was flabbergasted when I saw this in person. The entire mouth, the paint, everything applied, the gloss, and the teeth just looks unbelievable. And of course, they have this brownish type of a color all around the mouth to really just give it that perfect V-Rex look. Just looks unbelievable to me. Really, really nice. So then we start to come back on the detail here on the neck, and you can see that very beautiful armored type of a look on the upper half of the dinosaur continues, and it looks really beautifully done. There is kind of that armored look that extends down here into the shoulder and then up here into the hip area, actually a little past the hip, into the thigh. And it looks very nice as well. And that skin detail that is all over the head sculpt continues down into the neck. And again, we get kind of that armored appearance a little bit on the chest as well. You could just see all the incredible sculpt and detail that have been put into those little armored areas. And you can see there are all sorts of brown coloration that has been included in the hands. The nails are painted very nicely, and that brown runs up onto the arm a little ways. You can see some very nice musculature in those small V-Rex arms. Beautiful sculpting of the detail here in the stomach, and you can see the rib cage there as I turn it. So some very nice attention to detail that you would love to see on these type of figures. And then you come back up here into this, again, very armored type of a look up here on the back. And once again, just look at the incredible sculpting of the detail of these. I can't even imagine how long this took to sculpt, but they did a great job. REBOR is definitely the company to look out for in 2019. Very nice musculature here. You can really get an idea of just how strong this right leg is here, just in this thigh area. And then again, coming down here into the calf. Look at how gigantic that calf muscle is. Really huge. You can see that everywhere there would be skin folding and creasing is visible, is present. It looks beautiful. And then we come down into those extremely beautiful and very powerful looking Tyrannosaurus Rex feet. And man, they look awesome. They really do. Beautifully painted nails. No sloppiness at all. And then we come back up here into the tail. And again, that armor kind of extends down here onto the tail now and runs out the entire length of the tail. And it just looks awesome. The paint applied is really nicely done as well. I love the way the paint has been applied. Looks very realistic, looks like natural skin color, not just paint. So incredible work as far as the paint goes. And overall, this just looks absolutely awesome. Here's the opposing side. And again, it just looks really nice. You can actually see some of the skin stretching here as the left rear leg here is pulling back. Again, you can make out the rib cage a little bit. Beautiful musculature here in the rear leg. Man, those feet on this just look incredible. They really do. Beautiful dew claw you can see on the rear leg there on the opposing side. Incredible stuff. And coming back up here into the tail. Look at the way the skin is folding here in this tail right there. Just so nicely done. Really incredible. And now here is the grayish version. And again, the inside of the mouth is just absolutely awesome. But this one actually has more of a purplish type of a look. The inside of the mouth, it's again a little hard to see. There we go, we can get in there. But it looks fantastic. That purple tongue really looks cool, looks very real. Again, the teeth are very realistic looking. You're not going to find any better looking teeth anywhere than you will on these V-Rex figures, or in general REBOR figures now. They have just gotten so good at this, it is ridiculous. And then again, the head sculpt is identical to the other one, but it looks really nice, and the eyes look very similar. Again, there's that dark coloration around it, but the actual tone of the eye looks to be a slightly different shade. This one's actually almost closer to a copper coloration, whereas the other one was a gold. So there are definitely some very subtle differences as far as the coloration goes, but again, it has that beautiful white wash all over the place that really makes all the detail pop. Again, the colors are very, very similar, but the other one is more of a green, whereas this one is a gray. And I believe that is just basically based on the fact that this is the mountain version, so it's going to have more of a gray look. And the other one is the jungle version, the jungle variant, so again would have a more greenish type of a look. Very subtle differences in coloration, like the changing of the coloration of the eyes and the change of the coloration of the mouth. Even the teeth are a slightly different shade of coloration, I think, than the other one. So very cool that they've done that when it comes to the variations of color and the different variants that they include. Some people will complain and say, oh, now it's just more we have to buy. But that is not really the case. You don't have to buy them. Nobody's holding you at gunpoint and saying, look, you need to buy every variant REBOR releases. I think it's awesome that they do that, because if you don't want to buy a dinosaur that is a certain color, you get a different option, so you can get one that is more of an appealing color to you. However, I like to own both. I do like to have all the different variants of the dinosaurs that they release, and I am 100% okay with numerous different versions of each dinosaur. Looking at them side by side there, you can kind of see the difference in coloration, where you can see that one is a darker green and the other one is a little bit of a lighter gray, but they both look really, really cool, and I definitely highly recommend both. It's not something that I would say, oh, well, I like this one better than this one. That's not the case. I think they are just equally beautiful, and I honestly could not pick one over the other. They are just that nice. Give you a somewhat quick comparison shot of the heads and give you an idea of the variation of color in the teeth. You definitely see this is more of like an ivory type of a look for the teeth. That's more of a yellowy color for the teeth, so maybe this guy needs to brush a little more. But just again giving you a slight shot here, a real quick shot of the variation of the head. They definitely have their differences, but they both have their own individual beauty. So as far as the size goes, we only need to measure one. So let's pull this guy over here into frame. You're actually not even going to be able to, he's just so big, I'm not going to be able to get him into frame. So I'll pull it from the tail to the head and show you guys the end measurement here. So if the tail is completely straightened out and we bring this in, you are looking at about 16 inches, just a little over, almost actually 16.25 inches, or about a little over 41 centimeters. And for a height to the top of the head, you are looking at about 4.5 inches or so, or about 11.5 centimeters in that general area. And if we have the tail stretched completely straight, you're looking at about 5 inches or about 13 centimeters for the tail. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, and honestly, Mr. Papo Rex, I would not make a move on this guy, because although you might think you're a pretty tough guy, he's got some significant size on you there, so it's probably not in your best interest to try to defend your turf at this point in time. Don't worry, our friend the V-Rex here will be gone in a very short period of time, and you can return back to your post. But you can see right here, again, the V-Rex is quite huge. It's really a very large figure. It's probably, I'd say similar, probably about the same size as REBOR's King T-Rex, so that was a pretty big figure, and as is this big Tyrannosaurus V-Rex. Another thing that is very cool about these V-Rex figures is something that they introduced with the Ankylosaurus, and that was the fact that the tail is bendable, so you can pose it in whatever way you would like, and make as many different variable poses as possible. Again, the tail disconnects. So there you go. You can see that you have to connect the tail when you first get it, and it connects perfectly fine. I can barely make out the seam. You can see it, but it's really not a big deal to me. It's awesome to have a tail that is posable, because with these dinosaurs being the exact same sculpt, overall, you can still have them look different by posing the tails in different positions and making them have their own individual look. And I really love the way they do that. I think that is an awesome touch that REBOR has just recently started to include, and something that I am very excited about them including in the future. So both of these V-Rex figures are fantastic. Again, they have the articulation in the tail, they have the articulation of the mouth, but that is where the articulation ends. However, the painting and the sculpting is just as incredibly nice as you could possibly wish for. Like I said, I've never seen a better V-Rex, and I probably never will. These things are just top of the line, and I am so unbelievably impressed with the mouth area of these dinosaurs. It legitimately looks like they just have a real living dinosaur's mouth, and they put it on these prehistoric replicas of the V-Rex. It's unbelievable just how real they look in person, and something that, like I've mentioned, you definitely need to get a hold of these guys and see it up close, because you will be amazed at how incredibly real it looks. The overall sculpting, like I said, of both just looks spot on to what you see in the films, and they both look absolutely incredible. Really eye-catching type pieces in person, something that it's definitely going to catch the attention of anybody that knows what these are. They just look unbelievable. The paint included has been very nicely done, really realistically, does not look fake at all, looks very natural, looks like skin color, which is what you hope for when it comes to these models. So REBOR should definitely be commended on the incredible job they've done on both of these Tyrannosaurus Rex figures. So if you do want to order these guys, I will throw a link in the description to everythingdinosaur.com where I purchased mine, and you can go ahead, grab these figures and own them for yourself, and trust me, you will be very happy that you purchased them. I held off a little bit at first, even though I really wanted them, but I was trying to get money for some other things at the time, and now that I had enough money to go ahead and order these, I'm kind of sad that I didn't order these before anything else, because they are just that unbelievably beautiful in person. Definitely recommend these figures. So go ahead, click that link, go order them, and love these suckers like I do. And please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.